Let's look at the formula for the square of the sum of two numbers. I don't know what these numbers are, so I'll label them with the letters A and B. And the square of the sum of two numbers will be equal to the sum of the squares of these numbers, plus the duplicated product of these two numbers. If in this formula the difference between two numbers is in brackets, then we will need to subtract twice the product of the two numbers. And let's look again at the formula for the difference of the squares of two numbers. And we will use these three formulas to factorize a polynomial. In mathematics, this is a very common problem. I will write these three formulas on top so that they are always in front of your eyes, and let's check them. Let's start with the square of the sum. I will write this sum in a square as a product of two identical brackets. I multiply A by A and A by B. Then I multiply B by A and B by B. The sum of two identical factors is equal to twice the product of these factors. I write the difference of two numbers squared as a product of two identical brackets. When I multiply A by negative B, I get a negative product of two numbers. And when I multiply negative B by A, I also get a negative product of numbers. When I multiply negative B by negative B, I get positive B squared. This difference will be equal to negative 2 multiplied by A and multiplied by B. Now let's check this formula. We multiply positive A by negative B. We multiply positive B by positive A. And we multiply positive B by negative B. We put a minus sign. Identical terms with opposite signs can be reduced. And so we get the formula. Now let's look at some examples. I suggest you first pause the video and try to factor this square trinomial yourself. I give a hint. Negative 21 must be represented as 4 minus 25. 4 multiplied by x, I will write as 2 multiplied by 2 and multiplied by x. Taking into account the x in the square and the minus sign, this expression is very similar to this part of the formula. Here I just missed the 2 raised to the second power. And to get 2 to the second power, or 4, I subtract not 21 but 25. Nothing has changed for me here. I subtract 25 from 4. This is negative 21. And now I will apply the formula to the first three terms. And I will write 25 as 5 to the second power. In brackets, I will replace 2 and x. With such a change, nothing will change for me. You can check this yourself using the formula. And then I will apply the formula for the difference of squares to this expression. Instead of the number a, I will have the expression x minus 2 here. And from this expression, I need to first subtract 5, then add 5. I perform the calculations in brackets and obtain the following product. I hope it is clear. Here I subtracted 5 from negative 2. And in the second bracket, I subtracted 2 from 5. This problem could be solved in the second way. It was possible to solve the square equation. For those who do not remember how to do this, I left a link to the corresponding lesson in the description of the video. I advise you to solve this equation yourself. And then use the formula. x1 and x2 is the solution of the square equation. The coefficient a is the coefficient at x squared. And this is 1. I substitute the numbers. I got the following product of two brackets. Minus and minus. This is a plus. Also, first try to factor this polynomial yourself. 9 is 3 in the second degree. I'll write first term in this polynomial as 3 times x and all of that squared. The second term in a polynomial. I'll write it as 2 multiplied in brackets, 3 multiplied by x and multiplied again by y. Now we can apply the formula for the square of the sum of the first 3 terms of the polynomial. And 16. I will write as 4 in the second power. And again I apply the formula of the difference of squares. Instead of a, here I will have the expression 3x plus y. To factorize the following polynomial, I will factor out the squared y of the first 2 terms as a common factor outside the brackets. In brackets I will have y plus 2. From the last 2 terms of the polynomial, I will take negative 9 as a common factor outside the brackets. In brackets I will also get y plus 2. And now again I will take the expression y plus 2 out of the brackets as a common factor. From first term in the polynomial I will be left with y to the second power. From second members of a polynomial, I will be left with a negative 9. 9 I will write as 3 in the second power and use the formula of the difference of squares. So I get the product of the next 3 brackets. Considered examples are not the most difficult, but they should give you ideas on how to solve such problems. That's all for today. Subscribe to the channel, write questions in the comments. Bye everyone.